Ooh, so we're continuing the $50 grind. This time we've managed to get a 10x multiplier. Nice to see. I've already started my spin 50 grind today, so this would be a nice few points if I could win this. Jack 5, we'll go for a fold. We did another video with both of these players. Or maybe not this player, actually. I mean, I think they're a reg. I should put possible reg. And then McBride we played earlier. But yeah, nice to get a 10x. So in this one, there's actually ICM at play because second gets $100 and third gets nothing. So there are some ICM factors. What does that mean? It basically means you're less inclined to want to put all your chips in the middle. Slightly less inclined. And when someone has shoved on you, you want to call the shoves a little bit tighter. But not that much tighter. I mean, first place is still $400 and second is only $100. So still very top heavy. Don't need to worry too much about trying to get second place. 8-4 will fold. Yeah, it's a good time to get this 10x multiplier. We don't want to shove. We really don't want to shove. Thank you. Because I'm not sure if calling ace jack off there is actually a good play given the circumstances. Yeah, it's not something that I think is worth researching too much. 7-5. I'm actually going to try and limp. No. We'll leave it. It's interesting. Also, limping becomes less of a strategy when you're playing ICM spots. So I think the small blinds range should change a bit. Not that it's worth learning a whole new strategy for these spots that don't really come up too often. But I think you are meant to be raising more and limping less. That's generally what happens in spots where there's pay jumps rather than winner take all, which is what a spin and go normally is. We don't really have any stats on these players. I mean, I've got plenty of hands, but I don't like looking at stats until I have something very, very specific. Where the numerical value actually definitely means something. So I've only got one stat here. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's not that important. It's not that useful. If it ever did become useful, I'll let you know. Okay, so queen 4. I'm going to limp. I think this is a hand I should have raised because of what we said earlier. I should have raised it. Now, if we're ISO'd, we're going to have to call. Yeah, it's not a great spot. I'm going to check with the intention of giving up against the bet, but if they check behind, then I will bet on the turn. And I'll just go for the min size. And then the river, I think I'll go again. We'll go again. I'm trying to represent a jack, maybe an ace, but mostly a jack here with this bet. If they want to think I have an ace, that's fine by me, but that's what I'm going for. When I get raised, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Like, there's just no part of me is believing this. I really want to shove, but I'm not going to. I just don't think that's a line taken very, very, very often. I would be far more inclined to hero call. If I had a jack myself, I'd call. If I had any kind of showdown value there, actually, I would call that bet. But yeah, queen 4, I guess that's not the one to look them up. I could reshove. I think I'd rather have other hands than what I had there though. king 7. We can call or raise the flop. I'm going to go with call. Picking 2 pair, that's good. I like that. The question is whether we're meant to be shoving or not now that we've hit the 2 pair. We're in position. I'll go with the shove. We'll go with the shove. And we're dead. So we ended up coming 3rd place. That's sad. That's pretty sad. What hand are we going to look at this time around, I guess? Let's have a look. All right, so I guess we can look at the Queen 4 hand. We can talk about what kind of hands should they be raising on the river and what would they actually be raising on the river. I mean, to me, maybe they could have a hand like 9-3 or 6-3. Those kind of things make sense, but I think other than that, I think it's a lot of crap there. I don't want to exploit too much and reshove Queen 4, but I don't know. Something just tells me that that was a bluff. But I don't want to get too out of line. Generally speaking, when it comes to spots where I want to get to adjust, to exploit, I don't go that far. I won't go as far as to turn something that I know is just massively, yeah, I just don't go this far. So let's have a look at this spot in GTO base, see what it wants to do. Does it ever even want to bet the flop? I would presume that I bet the flop more than GTO base says you should. And then on the turn, I probably bet more the turn as well than GTO base thinks you should. So yeah, let's jump in and have a look. Okay, so again today we're going to be using GTO base to look over a hand. Basically all you do is you can use the Insta hand. I think you can use it 200 times, I believe, a month. And you just post the hand history in, if it's from PokerStars, and then it shows you the spot. So we were small blind versus big blind, and I wanted to see how we meant to play according to the solves that are made here. Now you see that it's very advanced in that it's got so many different sizings to use, much better than what I could compute by myself for pre-flop. And then post-flop, it's got lots of actions as well. So it's very, very useful, I would say. It is quite expensive. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone who's playing lower than $25 stakes or $25 stakes or lower. Especially as a lot of this is, like, we're looking at how a solver sees things. And generally when you're playing low stakes games, there's a lot of things that you can do against the population, which are just pure exploits, like betting a lot of flops rather than checking behind. Things like when you check in position and then they don't probe the turn, often they're a lot weaker than they should be, for example. These kind of spots, which mean that you don't want to play anywhere close to what a solver would say. But when you're playing higher stakes, maybe not even the 50s, maybe the 100s and higher, it's good to know this stuff. So when you're playing strong opponents, you can try and play this style, and they shouldn't be able to exploit you, which is the important thing. Right, so Queen 4 of diamonds, we limped. Now 42% of the time we went to 3x, and then 52% limp. So we did the most common strategy, and they checked. So on this board, I think I'm betting about half the time with Queen 4. Now, the solver is saying that we should be checking 75% of the time. So I am definitely playing a little bit too much as a bet. I decided to check though, which is apparently a good play, and they checked behind. On the turn, ouch, I knew there would be this might be a mistake. It suggests to check again. Basically, I think to check, give up. I decided to go for a small bet, which apparently it does 1% of the time. The EV difference isn't too big, but I would say, yeah, this is not the kind of hand I should be betting. Let's view the kind of hands that I should be betting. Okay. Right, so let's just put none, wait. The kind of hands that we should be betting are top pairs, draws, specifically combo, flush draw, open-ended straight draws, gut shots. Yeah, they're rather than pairs. And then when it comes to nothing, all of our king highs and queen highs just seem to be very much checking. So yeah, I think we made a mistake in terms of how much we should be betting. In this spot, we're meant to be checking 76% of the time on this turn card. Now, realistically, I'm checking maybe 30%. So range-wise, I need to change how to play in these check spots. I think just far more checking in this spot. So yeah, I would say this is a mistake. Even though the EV difference is very, very small, I think it's a mistake. So they called, and then on the river, we went for a bet. Now, the sizing that GTO base would use if it goes down this route is mostly for half pot, but I don't think there's too much EV difference in what we did. Them raising, I would love to see what they're meant to be raising. Let's have a look what they're meant to be raising. They're meant to be raising quite a lot, actually. No, sorry, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. They're meant to be folding 45% of the time, so plenty of folds, calling 45% of the time, and then very, very small amount of raises. And the types of hands that they are raising, let's just filter them out. Absolute wise. So it's going to be hands like ace 6, apparently, they could have. Realistically, I think they would nearly always bet the flop with ace 6, so I discount that. Ace 3 off, I think sometimes they'll be raised pre-flop, and then often bet on the flop, so I'll discount that. Hands like jack 3, definitely possible. Hands like 6-3, okay, they don't really have that often here, but I think that 6-3 is something that could have 9-3 as well. They are meant to have plenty of bluffs here, actually, and then some really thin value. Meant to have hands like queen jack, jack 10, and that's got to be for value. I can't see why else it would be. Jack 8, jack 7, jack 5. Really? All of these hands? They must be for value. It's crazy. Hang on, let's add call. Yeah, this must be for value to raise this. Very interesting. Anyway, yeah, I think I've discovered a spot where I should be when a higher turn card comes on a monotone board. I think I've made a clear range mistake here. Hopefully we can learn to check these a bit more. Let's go back to it again, just to remember what kind of hands I want to be betting in that spot. Yeah, the top pairs are fine to bet, and then even the jacks, actually, we want to be checking them mostly. So hands like queen 10 as a bluff, queen 8 as a bluff, 10-7 as a bluff. Yeah, I think I went too wide. So good to know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you're looking for how to play a little bit more exploitative, maybe if you're playing lower stakes and you want a good solid game plan on how to do that, we have got a low stakes spin and go course, which you can find a link to in the description down below. It's currently priced at the time of this video at $77, and I would say it's well worth it. Very good value in comparison to a lot of other stuff out there. If you want any like testimonials on that content, there is a link where other people have reviewed and said what they like about it. If you want to talk about more spin and go related stuff, we do have a Discord channel as well. So if you're looking for more free content, we've got a spin hand history section, and you can just post in some hand histories or answer other people's hand histories, how you think that you would play it. get some discussion going. Nothing's ever perfect, especially when it comes to micro and low stakes games. We're looking to exploit people and gain as many chips as possible, right? So yeah, plenty of things to discuss there. Anyway, I will leave you to it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.